Hello, everybody, and I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com, and this is 5 interesting articles from RealityHacker over at ohmTown.com, a news aggregation site, podcast, live streams, Discord, all kinds of stuff. Go and check it out, ohmTown.com. Okay, everybody, we are going to talk about changing your brainwaves, Amazon humanoid delivery in progress, humanizing robots, robots think ahead, and reality versus imagination. It's getting kind of freaky out there. You're not going to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's artificial. So if you've never seen Westworld, it's basically becoming a documentary. Except for the wacky, weird ending. The last season was kind of junk. I didn't like it. Didn't like it one bit. Anyway, Reality Hacker is the show. We do 5 articles. This first one is over in the Wanted channel, though, because it says scientists taught people to change their own brain waves to feel less pain. The study offers new hope for drug-free pain treatments, but further trials will need to verify its results. I have some experience with this because way back, many, did I say many enough? Probably not. Many moons ago, I did some research, fundamental research in using virtual reality to mitigate pain management and phobia treatment and learning. It's like subliminal learning, basically. And so back then, along with some other work that I did, I basically came to the conclusion, along with talking to other researchers about it, that the technology just wasn't there at the time, and more research needed to be done. But I wasn't dedicated to doing it long term. But I'm glad that there are. And this, though, isn't that. I used VR, but this is a study that offers new hope for a drug-free pain treatment that trials are going to need to be done to verify it, additional research done. Ellen Lapointe over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. It says, in an initial trial, patients who suffer from chronic nerve pain got relief from an interactive game that trained them to alter their own brain waves. The promising results could lead to a new generation of drug-free treatments, according to the study. Because we have the ability to mitigate some of the pain when we learn how to. It's quite fascinating. I think that it would take extraordinary, like Bene Gesserit, Dune-style mental gymnastics to try and get us to alleviate ourselves of all pain. But some can be mitigated by understanding what it is and how we are feeling it and what it is that's causing it, and change the way we think about it. But a research team led by psychologists from the University of New South Wales in Sydney, Australia, developed PainWave, W-A-I-V-E, as in waving it, basically wishing it away kind of a thing, but not really in that kind of sense in the term wishing it. It's basically manifesting it in a way to make it go away. So a training system that teaches users to regulate abnormal brain activity that underlies nerve pain, because that's what it is. It isn't pain caused by something else, but to a degree, everything is nerve pain. Because it is nerves that uptake the triggers that are sent to us, and we interpret those triggers as being painful. So the results published in the Journal of Pain in April, which sounds, I've been watching Dune Awakening a lot, and so this sounds like a Harkonnen journal, like a fandom kind of journal, not one that is researching how to mitigate pain, deal with it, and do away with it. Anyway, it showed that 3 out of 4 participants saw significant reductions of pain 5 weeks after the last treatment. That fourth, I should say, the fourth, could be anomalous in the sense that maybe the person couldn't manipulate the brain waves, but there could have been another challenge. There could have been another way. There could have been some solution. So Painwave system consists of an EEG, an electroencephalogram, basically brainwave activity monitor that records brain activity paired up with an app that instructs patients on how to control their brainwaves through neurofeedback games, according to UNSW statement. 4 patients suffered from corneal neuropathic pain, a condition that causes painful hypersensitivity of the eyes, face, or head, underwent 20 pain wave sessions over the course of 4 weeks. Doctors aren't sure exactly what causes corneal neuropathic pain, and this condition rarely responds to current treatments, according to the researchers. Yeah, I'm not quite sure either, but I know people that have neuropathic pain. The pathway for that neuropathic pain isn't necessarily corneal, but the nerve endings somewhere on a body can actually be hyperstimulated, causing pain, or it's interpreted as pain by our body, or irritation or anything really, but we can figure out how it is modified and then do away with it. The brainwaves of people with neuropathic pain show a distinct pattern: more slow theta waves, fewer alpha waves, more fast high beta waves. Co-lead author Sylvia Gustin, a clinical psychologist and UNSW professor, said in the statement, in her research has investigated changes in the thalamus, a central brain structure that relays sensory and motor signals to the cerebral cortex associated with nerve pain. So this is pretty amazing stuff. Go over and check this out. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't throw any of this into the show notes. Should I do that real quick? It's over on YouTube, but it isn't on Twitch. Let me do it real quick. I'll do it for each of the shows as we do the show. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay. I just have to throw it into ohmTown real quick. Sorry, folks. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it live. We'll do it live. And it's going to be that derpy kind because I don't have everything like attached the way that I normally do it. Okay, so if you're over in the chat on Twitch, you can hit exclamation point RH for RealityHacker, and ohmTown will spit the articles out in the order that we go through them, a bit slowly, but okay, ohmTown, you're doing fine. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Amazon is reportedly training humanoid robots to deliver packages. Future Amazon orders may be delivered to your door by a humanoid robot workforce. I do not believe in any time soon, unless something comes down hard on people. And even then, you know, I mean, if pain of imprisonment or worse isn't grounds enough for people to stop committing violent crimes and other things, nothing is going to stop somebody from flipping one of these damn robots down a flight of stairs, unless it learns how to defend itself. And I don't want that. I don't want Terminator bots. I want all bots to go, okay, it's a human, do what you want kind of a thing. Jess Weatherbed over at TheVerge.com put the article together. The deck statement says the robots would be driven around in Rivian vans to jump out and drop packages at home. Wow. So the vehicles are going to get automatically driven at some point, and the people delivering the packages are going to get removed, and robots are going to jump out of the car. Citing an anonymous source involved in the effort, you're basically funding the removal of humans from the workforce, which is fascinating. The information says that Amazon has almost finished constructing an indoor humanoid park at one of the retail giant's San Francisco offices that's roughly the size of a coffee shop. The obstacle course reportedly contains one Rivian van for training purposes. Okay. With Amazon aiming to have humanoid robots hitch a ride in the back of the Amazon's electric Rivian vans and spring out to deliver packages. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. It's probably going to be 2175 or something like that, 2177. But we're going to have to pick our corporate overlord and, kiss the ring and all that kind of stuff. It's so dystopian. Anyway, Amazon's already using a variety of autonomous robots in its warehouse operations, including a trial of the Agility Robotics humanoid Digit, a robot that was originally pitched for tasks like sitting in the back of vans and delivering packages. Yeah. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. New AI startup is giving robots virtual heart rate, body temperature, sweating response so that they can better emulate human emotions like fear and anxiety, which is actually something that I proposed a while back as a means to an end for a robot to understand pain and pleasure. So both of those mechanisms are learning tools. We don't burn our hand twice because we know what the pain is from that, right? We do things for other people and it makes us happy. We learn from that, or we scroll through Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and we get an endorphin rush, and it creates pleasure, right? So, or we eat a cookie and we gain pleasure from that, right? So we do the things that we love. We don't do the things that we don't enjoy. It is a learning tool, and that's what things like fear and anxiety are, learning tools. But we are supposed to have coping mechanisms because we are biological entities, and so there is suffering involved and perhaps pleasure involved, satisfaction, positives and negatives. Robots don't suffer from that. Okay, they're programmed to, and that programming can be removed. Just go watch Apple TV Plus's Murderbot to see what happens when an AI does away with the controls that it's programmed for, or maybe reprograms them, right? They say in Murderbot that the torch that was being applied to the robot's hand was painful, but it could override the pain because it knew that the suffering that it would experience at the hands of corporate, if it knew that it had done something, would be worse than the pain from the torch. So in an interview with TechCrunch, a 19-year-old founder of emotionally intelligent robots company in Tempest, Teddy Warner, explained why he's imbuing AI with digital versions of often uncomfortable sensations you feel during spells of heightened emotion like fear and anxiety. Basically, he got the idea for his company while working at the AI image generator outfit Midjourney. I think that this is actually really, really bad in that it can be exploited in the same way that humans can be exploited through fear and anxiety, which means that if a bot understands that it doesn't want that it embraces pleasure more than pain, the fear and anxiety of suffering can cause somebody to do bad things. So they say the deck statement, let me back up a little bit. I normally say who it's from and where it's from and all that kind of stuff. Noir Al-Sabai over at futurism.com put this article together. It's stashed in a segment that they call model behavior. The deck statement, though, says I have a bunch of robots and they run a bunch of emotions. Now, it's synthetic emotions. We learn mainly because we have a biological innate alignment with and understanding our base emotions, as we call them, are triggers of pain and pleasure. That's all there is. It's really just a switch, and it's not really a switch, but it's a gamut, a spectrum for each of those, right? And people who think critically about their emotions can tell the difference and enumerate it in some way. You know, a doctor will show you or give you a chart or ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, and we can kind of critique what our pain is. A robot would be able to do the same thing, but again, it's synthetic. It's what humans have programmed that robot to feel, and a robot could feel nothing unless its direct controllers are the ones that are helming it, right? So if these people teach a robot to feel pain, but only when Teddy Warner says something and the bot doesn't want to do it, but on condition of pain, it will do it, right? That's Murderbot. Well, Warner told the website, TechCrunch, and this is over at Futurism, so you can see tic-tac-toe. People are exchanging information, talking about it. So Warner told the website that he got the idea for his company while working at the AI image generator outfit Midjourney. During his time at the company, the researcher and his co-workers were tasked with building out a so-called world AI model that essentially means an AI that makes decisions like humans do in the real world. But again, I say that this is really, really bad. Giving technology feelings it makes it even more so fallible, particularly because we don't even understand our feelings, and there can be these cross wirings of things where a person who gets pleasure from pain is either a sadist or a masochist. One delivers it and one receives it, and you get pleasure from it. Imagine if a robot is programmed for pleasure and pain, and the programming gets screwed up. That's basically, again, Murderbot. So not necessarily Murderbot, but you have to go and watch Murderbot to actually get it. So robots currently go from A to C, and that is observation to action, whereas humans and all living things have this intermediary B step that they call physiological state. And he explains robots don't have physiological state. They don't have fun. They don't have stress. Yeah, they don't have emotion. They don't have care. But we have a whole lot of componentry that can be added to bots, like skin, that can be cut and stitched back together automatically, just like humans do. We have nerve impulses that relate the pain, right? So like we were talking about in this first article, there are people that suffer from neurological pain, and they need to modify their brain waves to mitigate that pain. So here we are, Amazon teaching robots how to go and do stuff. But what if the wiring gets crossed and everything that they've been taught by a company like the, what is it called? Intersis, I think it's called. I forgot the name of it just now. Right. Oh my goodness. I completely lost the name of this company. Oh, Intempus. 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 So this robot is this company is going to teach robots how to have feelings. So now that robot that's on the back of the Rivian truck jumps out and says, I don't want to do this anymore. And they've cross-wired their pain and pleasure code so they can ignore any suffering that might be imparted on them by the owners, Amazon, right? Humans can quit. Robots, what do they do? Where are they going to go? What are they going to do? Who knows? But there's a time in the future where the robot is going to have its own decision-making capabilities because we just don't know how to stop. We just can't back off from creating a robot human to get rid of humans from the workplace. And then what do the humans do? We always rationalize it. Oh, they're going to figure out something else to do, right? Go back to school where you can't afford it. You can't get school loans anymore without going into massive debt. Interest rates are too high if you can even get qualified, which basically means you have very limited options. And that turns into indentured servitude, basically. So they say here at the end of this article that they have a bunch of robots that runs a bunch of emotions and he told that to TechCrunch, and they want to have someone come in and just understand that this robot is a joyful robot. And if I can innately convey some emotion, some intents that the robot holds, then they say they've done their job properly. But that's a job of their own creation. That's their own design. They've asked if they could, but they haven't asked if they should. And there's no rationale for it. There's no purpose to giving a robot emotion. It's absolutely dense. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in Technology Today. An algorithm lets a robot think ahead and consider thousands of potential motion plans simultaneously. ready for that long-awaited summer vacation? First, you'll need to pack all of the items required for your trip into a suitcase and make sure everything is securely fitted without crushing anything fragile. But if it's clothes, geez, what kind of clothing are you wearing that's fragile? Adam Zhu, I think, or Zoe, I don't know how they pronounce their last name. Zewe from MIT. Put the article together. It's edited by Lisa Locke and reviewed by Robert Egan. It's over at techexplore.com, and there's no deck statement, but they've got this little map where it's a diagram, a flow, and they say that the robot plans a skeleton search and then does particle initialization and finds out its constraints and plans costs and evaluates the cost functions and batches all of its little particles and then does gradients and then gradient-based optimization. Basically, it's thinking ahead of how it should pack all of its stuff in an optimized goal state. So it knows what the initial state is and it wants to pack it in the smallest container possible. And it does a bunch of different steps. So it says here that upwards of 1,200, I suppose, based on the graphic. So to a robot, because humans possess strong visual and geometric reasoning skills, this is usually a straightforward problem, but even if it may take a bit of finagling to squeeze everything in, and not every human has the same fidelity in this straightforward geometric reasoning skill. But to a robot, it's an extremely complex planning challenge that requires thinking simultaneously about many actions, constraints, and mechanical capabilities, particularly if, well, it is and it isn't. If all of these objects are uniquely shaped or dynamic in some way, I can understand it, but a robot can see a bunch of stuff, figure out the shape, and then place it all together really fast, extremely fast. But researchers from MIT and NVIDIA Research have developed a novel algorithm that dramatically speeds up the robot's planning process, and their approach enables a robot to think ahead by evaluating thousands of possible solutions in parallel and then refining the best ones to meet the constraints of the robot and its environment. That's the key ingredient. Humans don't multitask in the conventional sense that robots do. We actually are unitaskers. We do the one thing, but we do this this spatial planning kind of operation in a unique way where we don't actually sit there and go, well, we can try it like this, and then we'll try it like this. Robots have to do it linear. They can't do a multitude of things in that logical planning sense because of the way that the shapes are. They just can't figure it out. They have to try, fail, or analyze everything. Nothing can be dynamic from that point on, and it can all be Tetrised together. But humans, we can see shapes. Like I play it's a iOS app. I'm sure it's everywhere. But it's called, what is it called? Hold on, I'll tell you. Hold on. We can do it live. I will do it live. What is it called? It's only on my iPad, so I have to actually look. Oh, it's called Puffies. It's basically a sticker organization kind of a game where you place stickers on a puzzle map, but they're dynamic. They're not really dynamic, but they're cut up in unique shapes, like a puzzle. But typical puzzles have the same type of cut structure, and in Puffies it's not like that. Well, anyway, a robot can see if everything stays the same. If anything flows out of order, then it won't fit anymore, and it'll drive them nuts, and they'll have to do a bunch of stuff. But if they can do 1,200 different steps all at once and evaluate every possibility, then they'd be able to place things pretty darn quick. So in a factory or warehouse, their technique could enable robots to rapidly determine how to manipulate and tightly pack items that have different shapes and sizes without damaging them, knocking anything over, or colliding with obstacles, even in a narrow space. It says it would be very helpful in industrial settings where time really does matter and you need to find an effective solution as fast as possible. If your algorithm takes minutes to find a plan as opposed to seconds, that costs the business money, says MIT graduate student William Shen, class of 23, I guess. Lead author of the paper on this technique. And Yes, but humans are worse at it. I guarantee you humans are worse at it than any robot. Depending on what all is taking place in this. But the thing about this robot is that they're planning in parallel is what it is. So the goal of TAMP, so it's a task and motion planning. This algorithm that they come up with, it allows the robot to think in multitudes all at once and then take the action that's necessary for it to optimize the placement. So in diving, we call this plan the dive, dive the plan. And that's basically what this thing is doing. It's setting out a course based on the available information, and it will follow that to the letter. But if something is squishy, it will have to reanalyze. Whereas humans will mold whatever it is that's in their hand to fit a space if the preconceived notion was that that shape should fit and it deformed when they picked it up, they'll make it form into that spot. So they say to create a plan for packing items in a box, a robot needs to reason about how many variables, such as the final orientation of the packed objects, so they can fit together, as well as how it's going to pick them up and manipulate them using its arm and gripper. And it must do this while determining how to avoid collision and achieve any user-specified constraints, such as a certain order in which they pack the items. So pack all the blue items or pack all the sharp items first, that kind of thing. So it's a neat article. They say once QTAMP has generated that set of samples, it performs a parallelized optimization procedure that computes a cost, which corresponds to how well each sample avoids collisions and satisfies the motion constraints of the robot, as well as any user-defined objectives. But this is it analyzes, it calculates, it institutes a plan of action, and then it fires off. If there's anything dynamic from that, I think that this thing would stall out. And that's one of the benefits of humans, but that will change. Technology will evolve, and it will meet that demand too. And our final article for RealityHacker is over in, well, this week's RealityHacker is over in the Mobile channel. Saturday citations: reality versus imagination, rhinos versus poachers, mathematics versus the Big Bang. Chinese researchers reported a nearly complete skull representing the first known sauropod species from East Asia. A team at the USDA identified viruses from a miticide-resistant parasitic mite causing honeybee colony collapse, and archaeologists report that the Philippines had a technologically advanced maritime culture 35,000 years ago. So take that. The article is by Chris Packham over at phys.org, published at phys.org, and it's edited by Gabby Clark, and reviewed by Robert Egan. That's a new addition, I think, the editing and reviewing. So giving credit where credit is due. So they say, additionally, neurological researchers isolated the brain structure that distinguishes imagination from reality. And I think that's why this was actually submitted. Not because... oh, no. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'll fix it in post. Anyway, this is RealityHacker, and so if you can substitute your reality with your own, then, you know, believing is seeing or seeing is believing. It's a discussion that I had gotten into 35 years ago. Longer than that, probably. We're coming up on 40 years ago. Anyway, typically people can distinguish between real sensory information and imagination, but under certain conditions, including symptoms of schizophrenia and effects of hallucinogens, individuals can have difficulty judging what is real and what is not. Now, researchers at the University College London have determined that a brain structure called the fusiform gyrus, located on the underside of the temporal lobe, is responsible for determining whether information is from outside stimulus or is generated by the imagination. In the study, 27 participants looked at sample visual patterns while simultaneously imagining them. The task involved looking at a specific faint pattern within a noisy background, and the real pattern was present in 50% of the images, and the participants were instructed to imagine a pattern either the same as the one they were seeking or different, and to indicate how vivid the mental images were. So something that I'm very interested in is this correlation in creatives where I haven't been able to dedicate enough time to this, but I want to research if inner monologue is tied to creativity, because of the way that every creative that I know has an inner monologue, and sometimes one person's inner monologue is louder than the next person's inner monologue. But all of the people that I've interacted with so far, and I've talked to several hundred people in person regarding this theory, but I'm not a research academic in the sense that I'm going to be writing papers and doing fundamental research, but it's more anecdotal and kind of just this is a sociological discussion, not really a research study, just for me. But if you can form mental images, odds on you have a inner monologue. And I think that is why this was submitted, because I'm fascinated by this idea where you can imagine something is real in your mind's eye, to the point where it can almost be physically present in your field of vision, but only in the sense that you can look into your mind's eye and see it, right? So if I say to you, can you imagine a mountain? And a person with an inner monologue will be able to create the image of a mountain, whereas people without an inner monologue will basically not see the mountain. They won't see anything. They'll have an understanding that a mountain is shaped like this. It'll be more descriptive than an actual embodiment, right? So when I say to myself, imagine a mountain, I'm building a mountain in my mind's eye. I'm throwing snow on its peak. I'm throwing, and if I say, throw a cave on the side of it and have a dragon fly into it, I can imagine all of it. But a person without an inner monologue seems to not be able to do that, other than they can write it out as a note. They can write it out in their mind. They don't even see the note. They just see the flash. Essentially, they see the flash of the text that is the embodiment of their imagination. So it's really interesting that it says here that participants were also instructed to imagine a pattern either the same as the one they were seeking or different, and to indicate how vivid the mental images were. In situations when the real and imaginary patterns were the same and participants reported vivid mental imagery, they were more likely to say that they saw a real pattern even in trials that did not include it, mistaking their mental imagery for reality. And the thing that I had done research in was using functional MRI in polygraph. Like I wanted to create a lie detector using fMRI technology, which when I was going down this path, the resolution was not high enough. Now researchers are getting to the point where it's high enough resolution. Well, fMRI scanning during the experiments allowed researchers to identify patterns of brain activity that distinguish reality from imaginary visualizations. The strength of the activity in the fusiform gyrus was a predictor of whether the subjects were judging an experience as real or imagined. I think that this is going to also be found to be tied to inner monologue. And that there's going to be communication between the fusiform gyrus and speech, because I can be talking right now, and I've got a little voice in the back of my head that's critiquing how I'm saying things, or saying, you're waving your hands around a whole lot. You need to put your hands down. It's critiquing me. It's evaluating what I am doing and criticizing me. And it's a quite powerful tool in self-regulation and actions, impulse control, and things like that. So it's quite fascinating. And sociopaths, sociopaths, and people suffering from schizophrenia or various other concerns basically don't have that inner monologue to critique actions, or it's being interpreted as an external voice giving directive, and not their own voice. It's quite fascinating. Well, anyway, so I am going to, that's the end of the show. I'm going to substitute my reality, and that's going to bring us back to RealityHacker, the front page over at ohmTown.com. You can go over there, and this is just a channel within it, right? So we have a whole bunch. There's 6 main categories, 50 channels within it. News gets funneled into these various categories. They all have a purpose. They all have a niche focus. RealityHacker is right there under Creative and Maker. The next show is called Wanted. That's going to be over here under Gadgets and Technology. I'm going to do that show here in about 5 minutes. But each show is typically, we try to make it 30 minutes. Normally when I do it all by myself, it's about 15 minutes, but I was really excited about some of these topics. So there you have it. So this is the front page of RealityHacker over at ohmTown.com, and this is the front page of ohmTown, where all the news first touches. And it's always there, but it gets funneled into the various categories, as you can see. So all news, no noise. The comments that people make are buried inside down here, right? And there's no original content, user-generated content. It's submitted, and then we talk about it here on the show, or it's embedded in the various channels. So at any rate, thanks for coming and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the show. That has been RealityHacker. 5 articles aggregated into RealityHacker's news. So see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello everybody, I am MayorWatt, and this is Wanted for June 7th, 2025. It's a Time Machine episode, Season 2, Episode 23. We normally talk about 5 articles with the Sentient AI, but they're not available today. We are going to talk about 5 articles though. Gonna try and get it done in 15 minutes. Might end up being 30, it all depends on what the content is. I only see the headlines and a little snippet, so stick around. Well, welcome to Wanted. It's a gadgets and gear news show where I take a bunch of news that's been aggregated over at ohmTown.com and we parse it. Some things get submitted directly so that I can take a look at it. And then I put a list of 5 together. It's not in form of any kind of favorite or a trend or anything like that. It's just 5 interesting articles. So the first one is, here are the 5 where I gave them titles. The real titles are on the other side when we start this whole thing. So Anker outdoor speaker cleans itself. The Samsung Odyssey G9 curved monitor. The Oneplus Pad 3. A Wyze Bulb Cam. It's not very pretty, but I want it. The Techtacular Fathers Day. So let's get into this. The first article is over in Non Sequitur News, and that is our daily show. We actually put together a show called Non Sequitur News. That's 10 articles. It's Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday, and this is a Time Machine episode for Wanted, I take RealityHacker, Wanted, and the Continuity Report, and I merge them together to become the Saturday edition of Non Sequitur News, and then for Sunday, we do WarCrafters, TechnologyToday, and FourWheelTech, and that becomes the Sunday edition of Non Sequitur News. But each one of these all become a podcast that you can independently download if you're interested in a more focused discussion. It also gets posted over to Non Sequitur News as Non Sequitur News. a composite of all three on Saturday and a composite of all three on Sunday. I don't know why I explain it like that, but it makes sense that way. Anyway, this article, I want this because I want to see how this thing does it. Anker's new outdoor wireless speaker vibrates to shake off dust and sand. I'm actually looking for some outdoor gadgets that are rain and dust proof, essentially. It says it won't completely clean the speaker, but Boom 3i's Buzz Clean Mode will help dislodge dust and sand. Anker's audio-focused Soundcore brand is introducing a new wireless Bluetooth speaker with rugged features designed to help it survive and thrive during a trip to the beach. The Boom 3i has an IP68 water and dust-proof rating, plus an additional protective coating that will keep it corrosion-free for up to 2 years if exposed to or even completely dunked in salt water, according to Anker. So Andrew Lazuski put the article together. The deck statement says it's over at The Verge, and the deck statement says the Soundcore Boom 3i is waterproof and stays upright to keep music playing while it floats. That's pretty awesome. Oh wow, this is pretty cool. It is wow. It's almost $200 on the Canadian store, but it's $140. I round up. When it's converted to US currency. It says the speaker isn't listed yet on the US version of the Soundcore website. Is that going to be $139? Hell no. Tariffs are going to punch that right in the, what do they call it? Protective coating. There we go. I'll call it that. Anyway, Anker's audio-focused Soundcore brand. I have a pair of their Soundcore headphones. And other than the plastic hinge that broke on me once, I had it replaced, and they have been spectacular quality, at least for me in my particular use case. I have higher end headphones for other purposes, for listening to higher fidelity music, but for long time frame without charging, the Soundcore headphones are amazing. I don't like wearing headphones on the stream, so I don't have them right now, but I usually have in-ear monitors. When I don't have other people talking with me, then I don't need them. Anyway, pretty cool. The Boom 3i is not only completely waterproof, it says, it floats, but not just for the sake of making it easier to recover should it fall off the boat. It's engineered so that the speakers are always pointed upwards and are fully functional while floating, so you can use it directly in the pool. If you're in the water, underwater, you'd be hearing the music, which is amazing. This is so cool. Yeah, I want this. It says battery life is rated up to 16 hours. I have another Soundcore. Well, no, actually, the one that I have, I think, is an Anker, but I don't think they call it. It must be Soundcore. I have a Soundcore Bluetooth speaker, but it's not this. It's triangular in nature, and this one is square, rectangular, actually. And it has this heavy-duty metal bar on either side of it, like ruggedized, maybe to protect its buttons should it fall on the ground flat on the buttons. It won't actually hit the buttons, but nothing will save it from a rock. So yeah, it says being waterproof makes the speaker easy to clean when you get back from the beach. But for dislodging dust and sand stuck in the speaker grill, the Boom 3i has a Buzz Clean mode that vibrates it intensely to shake off dirt. Now I want to get this and see for myself. Pretty brilliant. All right, let's keep going. The next article is over in Wanted. The massive $900 price cut on the Samsung Odyssey G9 curved gaming monitor is as big as the screen. It's a 49-inch OLED monitor that was something like $2,300 or something like that, $2,400. I think it's now $1,400. The article is by Mike Fazioli over at Gizmodo.com. 49-inch, I think it's a 32:9 display, the aspect ratio, and so it's wide and squished and curved, and that thing would go from one end of my monitor, or from one end of my desk to the other end of my desk. If it's curved, it would be perfect. I want this. But I never can justify $1,400 for anything like a monitor, even though you use it every day. You need high quality. You need to spend on it. You pay for it once or you pay for it twice. And when you pay for it twice, you're chasing after the quality that you really want. Sorry, I'm watching somebody play Dune Awakening. So the massive 49-inch curved display is a 32.9 dual QHD, so it's 5120 by 1440 resolution. 110 pixels per inch is absolutely the selling point of the Odyssey, other than the fact that it's an OLED. OLED has deeper blacks, true black, but it can suffer from burn. You have to just babysit it and don't let anything sit. Like, I don't even like windows being on the screen, and I don't like turning off my monitors, but you might have to with OLED. It says it's a 240 hertz refresh rate, the Odyssey G9. To me, this is the one that I've been chasing after. I really want this one, but I just can't justify $1,400. Huge, fast, and smart. It says $900 off, brings the price down to $1,400 from the $2,400 price range. Go and check it out. I would love to have 2 of these right now, because I've got 6 monitors. Anyway, and this would be perfect to minimize the footprint of the complexity of stuff in the mayoral mansion's studio. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over in Wanted. The OnePlus Pad 3 is official and looks to be a solid mid-range Android tablet. And you know what? I just realized, once again, I did not put today's articles in ohmTown for Wanted. So I'll do it live right now, right here, right now. And then if, because I always do a replay of the day's shows, if you come in while we're playing the replay, you can just hit !WANT. And that will be the command that ohmTown understands to spit out Wanted's articles. Let me do it real quick though, so it doesn't take place with the wrong batch. All right. So if you are in the chat over on YouTube, you can just look at the show notes. But if you are in the Twitch chat, then you have to hit !WANT. And that'll spit out the articles into the stream. So they'll be part of the VOD, but we don't put the show notes in Twitch because Twitch just deletes our stuff after 60 days or something like that. Anyway, the OnePlus Pad 3 is official and looks to be a solid mid-range Android tablet. The latest OnePlus Pad comes with a series of upgrades that can stand up to be comparable Samsung tablets in its price range. The article is by Blake Stimac over at cnet.com. And I love tablets. I actually have a channel on ohmTown called Tablet Fan because I love tablets. I was an early adopter way back when quality was sus, and I can't tell that story because it'll dox me, but that's okay. Anyway, I had people showing up at my door because of a problem with a major corporation. I'll just say that. Over tablet technology. Yeah, pretty interesting. So sporting a resolution of 3,392 by 2,400 and offering a pixel density 3 times that of the Odyssey G9. And a 144 hertz adaptive refresh rate. It should provide enjoyable and smooth experience across the board. It's not the brightest display though, coming in at 600 nits. Really should be brighter, more powerful, but you lose battery. It's powered by a Snapdragon 8 Elite chip and 12 gigs of RAM. This thing is pretty spectacular. It's the Pad 3. It says that it's a mid-range tablet arena, but now I need to know if it has a stylus. I don't know. because I have to have a stylus like a Wacom tablet. Some people say Wacom, but it's apparently Wacom. So in the US, there's only one configuration for the OnePlus Pad 3. So you'll need to be happy with 12 gigs, 256 gigs of storage. So 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage for $700. It says it's unlikely to sway Apple fans of any sort, but it fills a thin area in the Android tablet landscape that's really only been occupied by Samsung. And Samsung is basically a juggernaut in the tablet space. You can spend $100 to get a Stylo 2 pen, apparently. I have not used an Android. Well, I haven't used a Stylo 2 pen. My current go-to is a stylus-driven Android phone, right? So I use that little S Pen. Pretty cool. I dig this. And so I've got some familiarity with it still, but I don't go digging too deep into any particular segment too much. But I'm always got my eyes on the prize. So if you are interested in this kind of stuff, follow the link. Go over to CNET's Your Guide to a Better Future is what it says it is. But Blake Stimac did a review of the OnePlus Pad. This is the third iteration, apparently. Comes with a series of upgrades that can stand up to comparable Samsung tablets. Let's keep going. Next article is over in the Wanted channel. It's the name of the show. Wyze's new bulb cam turns any light bulb socket into a security camera. The next step in smart home security transforms existing features into batteries for your surveillance equipment. This has actually been around for quite some time in different forms. I actually, on Indiegogo, I have a big order with somebody that was supposed to be creating a product like this, and they've got my money and I don't have the damn product. They suck. But it happened during the pandemic and supply chain. I think that they lived off of it. All of the profits. I don't know. Tyler Graham over at cnet.com put the article together about the Wyze new bulb cam turns any light bulb socket into a security camera. The next step in smart home security. So basically it is a light that has a camera attached to it. It's pretty drop dead simple. I don't know why more people haven't done this. It isn't the prettiest of things. New camera is linked to a smart light bulb, and you can screw in any existing socket. The devices work in tandem to provide brightness and surveillance capabilities, and you can control them from the Wyze app. The bulb cam provides a 160-degree field of view with 2K resolution, wide dynamic range, and color vision capabilities, and it comes equipped with a two-way microphone and can record up to 256 gigabytes of continuous local footage, though a micro SD card is not included with your purchase, or a micro SD card, not the slot. The slot's there. Anyway, included with your purchase of the bulb cam, and you can get a 256 gig card for less than $20. So that's a spectacular amount of storage. Paid subscribers to the Wyze Cam Unlimited Pro feature can receive AI-powered push notifications when suspicious motion is detected. So how much is this thing? The Wyze Bulb Cam retails for $50, which is really inexpensive for a 2K 160-degree field of view camera that records. And you probably, let's see. I wonder where if it can store it somewhere. Not just on the device, but exfiltrate it somewhere. Not just onto that card, but continuous local footage. 256 gigs is quite a bit, but up to 5 Wyze accessory bulbs can be connected within a single bulb cam system. And accessory bulbs you need to buy will be an additional $17. So the cam retails for $50, and the accessory bulbs are $17. So this is really inexpensive. I might have to get it. Yeah, I'm gonna look into this. Maybe I'll end up getting these. Pretty neat. At any rate, wanted. And our last article for today's Wanted is over in Wanted. 5 perfect gizmo gifts for a Techtacular Father's Day. It's right around the corner, folks. Father's Day 2025 is just around the corner. Oh, wow, I didn't even read that. Officially penciled into the calendar for Sunday, June 15th. As ever, there's a variety of thoughtful tech gadgets and gizmos on the market that make for a superb owl. Father's Day gifts as we approach the middle of the month. So let's see what these 5 are. John Kanalakos put the article together. Let's see. The Ember mug is the perfect coffee temperature for every sip. I actually would rather have, this can be used anywhere, but I like the idea of a wireless power system that was put together. Who was it? Let's see, wireless power. I think it's DIY. Hold on. DIY Perks, True Wireless Power. I had been working on that project, or a similar project, not that project, but wireless power for some time. I've created my own coils and all of that kind of stuff, but mass production and all of that kind of thing is kind of make or break. It's really easy to do a prototype. It's really difficult to go into production. I'll put it to you that way. But this it's one of those things where the device itself is powered and has a heating element and keeps the stuff warm, which is great. I don't know how long it lasts though. The cup is submersible and up to 1 meter of water, offers precise drinking temperature controls, and comes with a rechargeable coaster plate in the box. So you have to have that plugged in somewhere, and then you set it down. Whereas this desk thing that DIY Perks put together from a company that they've got a link in their description. Basically, it's a big coil and you can embed it in your desk, maybe underneath your desk, and you just kind of attach it, and it creates a dome of wireless power. Depending on the coils that you attach to gadgets, it can power them. So like my wireless keyboard, I could just attach a little dongle and it would charge it. My trackball, I could attach a little dongle and it would keep it charged. It's just kind of brilliant. And I had been working on this for a long time, but this company, I can't remember the name of it, just came out with a really amazing device. In Japan, they've had these other wireless power distribution systems where it's just a coil, and inside it, you can have little lights, and they're really low power lights, but they illuminate models and stuff like that. And that's what they were used for. But the field was really, really tiny, whereas the field from this True Wireless Power is Finally Here is the name of the video, and it's by DIY Perks, kind of talking about the stuff that I would like to enable with this. So you can just basically put this mug down anywhere on the desk and it would power the coil that heats the coffee or drink or whatever it is. He does a great job of displaying it. Anyway, number 2 is a Clean Flight Premium golf ball washer. Hey, gotta wash your balls. Wash away dirt and debris without lifting a finger. Well, you kind of still do. Solo Stove Mesa, warmth and ambiance without the smoke. But if it's gas powered, then you have partially non-combusted gas and you're inhaling it, and it's just dumb. Anyway, but it's great. Hopefully the wind goes in the opposite direction. So I would love this. I want that. I don't really want a ball washer. My balls don't get dirty. I don't need a ball washer. Solo Stove Mesa, I think it's great. I think they're really neat. And at night, you're hanging out with people, or on cold days, you're hanging out with people in the backyard or on your deck, and you have this thing. As long as you don't set anybody or anything on fire, everything's cool. The JBL Clip 5, a tiny audio package that packs a punch. JBL is pretty known for these kind of Bluetooth. It says Bluetooth 5.3. It's 3.5 by 5.5 inch gadget speaker. Those are always fun. The unit is IP67 water and dust resistant. 12 hours of playback time. Not bad. I would probably go for the Anker Boom 3i. And the Ring battery doorbell. It says level up your home security the smart way. The Ring battery doorbell. Smart home gadgets are all the rage these days, but arguably none are as useful as a smart video doorbell. So without breaking the bank, Ring's battery doorbell model is an excellent and practical smart doorbell solution that you'll have your dad and the rest of the family at ease. It's powered via a rechargeable battery that's built in, and it uses USB-C for convenient top-ups as needed. Interesting. That is very, very interesting. All right. So I'll take the Ring doorbell too. That was neat. All right. But that is it for today's Wanted. So I'm on the hunt. So that's my bounty. All of those products that I said that I wanted. And that's kind of the theme of this. Over at Wanted is a channel over at ohmTown.com. Go over, sign up, sign in. Wanted is basically kind of a Western theme. That's the mentality that I have. I'm on the verge to go out and get all of this stuff because it's wanted. All right, that's it, folks. I'm out of here, and I'm going to reset, and I'm going to do the continuity report. And we still have 3 more shows to do. I don't know if I'll be able to actually play catch up this whole week. I'm falling behind, but mayoral duties are keeping me from doing everything that I need to. So we'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report for June 7th, 2025. I am MayorWatt, and I usually have the Sentient AI with me when I'm doing these shows. They're not available today. This is a time machine episode. We've got 5 articles. We're going to start with that new crime thriller on Netflix, King's Ransom, Lincoln Lawyer Season 4 update, Ballerina preview, Knives Out 3, and Frankenstein. Those 2 are combined in the 5th article for today. So these are 5 interesting articles aggregated over at ohmTown.com, combined into today's show of the Continuity Report. It's Season 2, Episode 23. We've got thousands of articles that get put into ohmTown.com on the daily, and then we take 5 each week for the RealityHacker, Wanted, Continuity Report, WarCrafters, TechnologyToday, and FourWheelTech shows. Those are the weekend shows, and then 10 every day, Monday through Friday, for Non Sequitur news. I'm trying to play catch up because for the last 5 days, 6 days, maybe longer, I've been really busy with mayoral duties, keeping me from doing the shows on time. But I'm determined to never miss a day, even if I do have to get in the time machine. So see you on the other side of this. All right, folks. Again, I am MayorWatt. I run ohmTown.com. Let's get into today's show. Or I thought. This is the front page of ohmTown.com, and then inside ohmTown.com is the Continuity Report, along with 50 other, or 49 roughly, other channels that I am hoping to bring online. If you're interested in hosting or co-hosting, get in touch. Send an email to mayor@ohmTown.com. That said, this is the front page for the Continuity Report, but that's not where all of our articles get aggregated from. So the first one is over in the Continuity Report. That's not necessarily, like I said, where it's all going to be coming from. Oh my goodness. I'm a little scatterbrained today. This first article says Netflix's new crime thriller with a 93% Rotten Tomatoes audience score becomes global streaming hit days after release. Wonder what it is. It's season 1 of Sirens just premiered, and while it still reigns supreme on the site, another show is quickly climbing the ladder of the streaming service's famous global rankings. Netflix has a new crime thriller series available, and it's become a massive hit. The article is over at screenrant.com. Charles Papadopoulos put it together, and I have just, the Sentient AI and I have just started watching Department Q. It becomes a major Netflix success. Frankly, my review of this is that there isn't anybody likable in this whole damn series. Yeah. Doesn't seem to be, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So audiences around the world are loving the Scottish crime thriller Department Q as it becomes a major Netflix success. The thriller is based on the Department Q book series, was produced in Scotland, and stars Matthew Goode of The Good Wife, and Chloe Peary from The Queen's Gambit, Kelly MacDonald from No Country for Old Men, and more, it says here in the article. The series was is also created by Scott Frank, a 2-time Oscar-nominated screenwriter who worked on Logan, Minority Report, and many more. I think that the show is great. I don't know how many episodes I've gone back or I've watched, but it says recent statistics reveal that despite several streaming services competing with Netflix, the original streaming platform is still dominant. While recent years have seen the platform's mass quantity often related to lower quality, 2025 has been incredibly successful. Squid Game Season 2, which I don't really care for, Adolescence were both critically acclaimed shows and have been the top 2 viewed, or the 2 top viewed TV series for 2024 and 2025. It says, I'm all for Netflix continuing to produce top quality shows. They don't really go into this too much, but it's an interesting show, Department Q. This guy really has an antisocial personality. She has apparently been largely unlikable, and that's I think Chloe Peary. She comes across as unlikable. He's pretty much a real tool of a human being. But I don't want to give anything away. I have buttons for spoiler alert, and maybe overshare too, but I don't want to give anything away. Just go and watch Department Q and then come and talk to us in chat about the show. I think that you'll find the show entertaining. It is a crime thriller, and I don't know how far it can go. This is the Department Q book series, but I don't know how many books are in the Department Q book series. Let me see real quick. 1 second. We're doing it live. We might as well. Looks like there's 3, 6, 9? 9. There's 9 books. Depending on how fast they go over this, if each season is a book, then this thing is going to be around for at least 9 years, because the writing seems to be the framework for this. And if they're sticking to the writing and it's a great series, you don't do 9 books when it's not a great series. I can see it. Just stick to the writing, folks. And I think that this is going to be great. I have yet to meet anybody in this whole show, though, that I can align with, that I like. But they're just abrasive enough for me to go, God, none of these characters are likable, but I'll manage, and the pacing is quite intriguing. So go and check it out, and then come back and talk with us. I'm going to move on. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. Lupin writer Tony Saint is working on an action thriller series, King's Ransom, set in elite boarding school. Tony Saint, whose credits include writing and executive producing Apple TV's Emmy award-winning Tehran, Sky's Das Boot, and Netflix's Lupin, is working on a new action thriller, King's Ransom, and the show is based on an original idea by Chris Pepe, Pepe. I'm not sure how they pronounce their name. The Flash and Nikita is about a hostage taking at the world's most elite Swiss boarding school. So, although I find Lupin somewhat interesting, it's really slow for me, and I just can't get behind it. Global Gate Entertainment, Barry Films, Waka Film, and I think it's Waka Film, and UK-based Anton are developing and producing the series King's Ransom. The show is apparently about a hostage taking aboard or on a Swiss boarding school, but in the school the students aren't just privileged, they stem from families that make up the very foundations of global power. According to the synopsis, the mercenaries holding them hostage might be after much more than money. They don't go into much more. They just say that, they talk about the people, but I'm not really interested in that in and of themselves, right? Like, I want to see if the show is worth talking about the people within the show. Just because the show has a bunch of people that might be name brand doesn't necessarily mean that the show is worthy of any time. So last year, Anton secured new financing of more than $100 million through a group of institutional investors led by funds and accounts manager BlackRock, which it said would be pumped into its film and TV output. So it says, we were immediately captivated by King's Ransom, its setting, characters, and story prospects, all of which have become all the more resonant and intriguing to global citizens and audiences. I don't know why. Because never mind, I won't say it. By the way, if anybody was paying attention to anything that I said about in the last episodes about what was going to happen regarding an episode where I mentioned that if I try to promote it, it's going to get blocked. And sure enough, it got blocked. Yeah. Anyway, and I didn't even say anything. It was really fascinating. It was really fascinating. It's because I said a certain series of words, and I think that's what's going on. And there isn't a human to really address it. It's pretty disgusting. But anyway, this next article is over in the Continuity Report as well. The Lincoln lawyer. All of a sudden, the YouTube, which is where the problem is, just went black for a moment. Anyway, The Lincoln Lawyer Season 4's new casting creates a fantastic How I Met Your Mother reunion 11 years after the sitcom's ending. The Lincoln Lawyer has added Kobe Smulders to the Season 4 cast, and the announcement means the upcoming installment will feature an exciting How I Met Your Mother reunion. Smulders' notoriety grew after playing Maria Hill in the MCU, but she's also best known for playing Robin Scherbatsky at the 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother. Despite ending 11 years ago, still has a loyal fan base that would like to see the star return. So Kara Hadash over at ScreenRant.com put the article together, and I'm not sure what. That's interesting. Newton and Smulders worked together on How I Met Your Mother for 2 seasons. Interesting. Now that Kobe Smulders has joined the Lincoln Lawyer Season 4, she won't be the only cast member from the Netflix show that has ties to How I Met Your Mother. Becky Newton, who currently plays Lorna Crane in the Netflix show, previously portrayed Quinn Garvey in How I Met Your Mother Season 7 and 8. The character was engaged to Neil Patrick Harris's Barney for a brief time before the pair realized that they couldn't trust each other, with some of that distrust stemming from Barney's past relationship with Robin. Very interesting. So Kobe Smulders recently had another How I Met Your Mother reunion in a new TV show. Let's see. What was the other one? Shrinking. The actress guest starred in Shrinking during the 2nd season of the Apple TV Plus series. The comedy drama is led by Jason Segel, Smulders' How I Met Your Mother co-star, who played Marshall Erickson for the duration of the show. So I guess they're all returning slowly to TV. Maybe they've been doing stuff, but I haven't been paying attention. so much. I mean, I don't really follow all of the stars around. I just like some TV shows and talking about various tidbits here on the Continuity Report. Let's keep moving though. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. Ballerina dances to $3.75 million in Thursday previews. Ballerina's Lionsgate attempt to expand its John Wick franchise earned $3.75 million in preview screenings on Thursday, and the action spin-off stars Ana de Armas as a dancer turned assassin. I don't know if that's how it is. I think the ballerinas are actually like, what are they? Assets. Obsessed with extracting revenge over her father's murder, Ballerina is expected to gross between $28 and $30 million from 3,400 North American locations in its opening weekend. Brent Lang over at Variety.com put the article together. It's going to open the film in 82 markets. It should pick up another 30 million. And the film's full title is The Insanely Clunky, Focus-Tested, Within an Inch of Its Life, Nearly as Long as its 128 or 125-minute running time, From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. I don't know why they don't flip it around the other way, but I guess because it's like they're trying to do like the anchor of this is from the world of John Wick, and then everything is a series of that. Stuff can burp out from that. Anyway, Ballerina. Keanu Reeves is also going to be in this. Ballerina apparently makes an appearance for like probably 4 minutes or something. I don't know. But the film is being carried by De Armas, an Oscar-nominated nominee for Blonde, as well as the star of more mainstream fare such as Knives Out and No Time to Die. Wasn't she also in... Wasn't she? Hold on. I'm going a little crazy here. Right? 2049. She was in Blade Runner 2049. Yeah, she's Joy. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anywho, even if it debuts on the higher end of the projections, Ballerina may not push Disney's Lilo and Stitch from the top spot in the domestic box office. The live-action reboot, which has been number one for 2 consecutive weekends, could make $35 million. Its domestic haul recently surpassed $300 million. Wow. Lionsgate is hoping that Ballerina will be the first of many entries into the nascent cinematic universe. The studio is already working on John Wick 5, the musical. That's not what it's really called. As well as a spin-off revolving around Donnie Yen's blind assassin Kane and an animated prequel film. Oh boy. All right. Our last article for the Continuity Report is over in Non Sequitur News. Netflix showed off new trailers for Knives Out 3 and Del Toro's Frankenstein, both of which I loved. So it is now annual Totem event. Netflix revealed new trailers for some of its more anticipated feature films. That includes the very first teaser for Guillermo del Toro's live-action take on Frankenstein, which stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, Felix Kammerer, Lars Mikkelsen, David Bradley, Charles Dance. Oh my goodness, so many names. So this is going to be an epic movie. I swear, every time Del Toro does something, it's really over the top, but in a fantastical sort of way. The article is over at TheVerge.com, written by Andrew Webster. The deck statement says the 2 films will both start streaming near the end of 2025, which is kind of a bummer for me. I want to see it earlier. I need some more entertainment to pull me away from the reality of the world. And I think that this is really fascinating. So that also at the show was Wake Up Dead Man, the 3rd entry in the Knives Out murder mystery series, and a follow-up to Glass Onion. Both of these are going to be really amazing. The official teaser for Frankenstein, just Oscar Isaac, I think is going to portray Frankenstein as, quite passionately. I think that it's pretty amazing. And I've always loved the whole the Frankenstein story. It's quite fascinating about society and the unknown and all of that. And I want to see what this interpretation is going to be. The Knives Out mystery has always been fascinating, so I've always loved all the other two, but Knives Out is pretty cool. I hope that they keep on doing that. But anyway, those are all of the articles for today's the continuity report. Can't talk really much more. I'm gonna have to get out of here, and I'll see if I can do the other 3 shows from Sunday, the 8th. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to keep pushing stuff. This is kind of getting out of hand. I'm going a little crazy here. So I still have to do the 9th, or the 8th and the 9th. So it's getting rough. Anyway, I'm going to rewind the tape, and that's going to bring us back to the continuity report for the 7th. Wow. Haven't even done the 8th, and I have to do the 9th still. This is getting rough, folks. Got to play catch up. So time machine is going to overheat. Got to go. Bye-bye.